Hello, welcome back to Kickstart. Kickstart is a faith-based organization teaching principles and skills based on scripture that will empower your life. So right now, we're in a series called From Trapped to Mapped, taking people from ground zero, ground level 1, to level 2, to level 3, to level 4, to level 5, and so on and so forth. The whole purpose of this program is to teach biblical principles so we can apply them in life, learn about them, and grow under God so we can be the best people that we can be and we can affect the people around us in the best way possible. Because all we want at the end of the day is a good life, good conversations. We just want good, and so we invest in good. So, last video we spoke on confession and repentance. And just to quickly sum it up, confession being a formal statement admitting one is guilty, repenting meaning to feel or express sincere regret or remorse about one's wrongdoing. So, just the action of acknowledging your own wrongs and and truly feeling like that is something that is wrong and doing something about it. But today we will be speaking about gratefulness. I'm excited to get into it. I love grateful. I love the principle of gratefulness, Thanksgiving, all of those things. When I think of it, I really think of smiles. When I think of somebody being grateful, I just see a smile. Grateful kids laughing, grateful parents smiling at their kids. It's just being grateful. It's just a good feeling. It makes you smile. So let's get right into it. I always start off with the definition. So to be grateful, gratefulness is the feeling or showing of an appreciation of kindness. Thankful. So read that again. A feeling or showing an appreciation of kindness. Thankful. So basically, gratefulness, being grateful, is just showing appreciation in a kind way, being thankful. Um, you know, it's not too hard to smile or just thank somebody for something that they did. A lot of times, it can be a joy in the ugly. Like this principle really transforms people's situations and the positions that they're in. Being grateful can take you from this position to a higher position very quickly because it has a lot to do with the heart and it has a lot to do with just your overall energy. And people really like to be around good energy. People love to feel comfortable around people. People, all of that transfer of energy, that's real. And it's noticeable. You can notice the energy of somebody just by walking in the room and looking at them, their attitude, how they speak, things like that. Um, and so to be grateful, to see the energy of gratefulness is just a very welcoming energy. And it's a very powerful principle as well. And like I was saying, it can be a joy in the ugly. So no matter what you're going through, and no matter where you are, who you're with, as soon as you choose to be grateful in those moments, it's it's like looking at ugliness and still having joy. Um, and it can be, I guess it can be complicated. It doesn't need to be complicated, but it can be because people have so many, there's just so much inside of them that they don't know to be grateful or kind of how to act when they get in tough situations or situations where they don't know what's going to happen next or things like that. That usually starts to drive people crazy. especially money and financial situations. Usually that will drive somebody to, kind of losing their mind or stressing a crazy amount, worrying all the time, even making irrational decisions to go and try and get quick money, or things. All of these just different actions that can put you in a better or worse position. And so, to be grateful in the moments of life when it doesn't look like you should be grateful is a very powerful thing. That's actually, gratefulness should be used across the board at all times in life, but especially when things are going bad. Because I know in the human eye, and we as people see bad times as hard and strenuous and aggravating, and can't wait for this bad time to get out of here, move out the way, move on. But a lot of the bad times in life, and how God sends these certain trials and tribulations, a lot of times these times are oriented towards growth for you. It's literally a bad time or a mission sent by God to you for you to go through so you can sharpen yourself, become better as a person, and continue to, complete the mission that God has for you. Make good things happen while you're living here on earth, and just become better. This whole thing is about growth. So all of this, I mean, we need these principles and everything else that God can give us to grow at a steady pace, at a good pace, and it's just a part of life, honestly. But so gratefulness, you get some joy in the ugly, even when things are terrible. That you're alive, you woke up this morning, you still have a reason to be here. So put a smile on your face, see what you need to do next, and continue on. Love God, showing appreciation. That was in the definition, just showing appreciation of kindness, thankfulness for any action, big things or small things, but especially small things. Because I want to point something out. It's very easy to be grateful when you have everything. It's easy to be grateful if you have $1 million, the Lamborghini that you wanted, the bag that you wanted, with the backpack. If you have all of the things that you want already, it's pretty easy to be grateful. And if you didn't work for it, it's almost like a facade because you're grateful for things you didn't work for. And truly, that is not. If you wanted to replicate that, you probably couldn't. So being given things is a whole other topic. But I got into this because of the small things in life. A lot of people go through life looking at all the little things that they do throughout the day, all the little thoughts, all the little decisions, um, and just all of the little blessings, honestly, all the small little blessings that we get every day. People look over, don't even realize that they're blessed, that they have things going for them, that if they just changed their attitude and if they were just grateful for the things that they did have, they would realize that you know what, I'm okay with this. And now that I see where I am and what I've done to get here and why I'm here, or if you don't know why you're there, awesome. I see where I'm at right now. I'm grateful for the little things that I do have. I want to add on top, and with God, I know it can be done. Add some faith in there. When you start stacking principles on each other, it gets pretty powerful. You get to start moving pretty quick. You get your destination pretty fast when you use the principles that God has given us to use. And so, to it's, it's just gratefulness. It can take you a very long way. And so, I have on here. I'm sorry, I just left that whole thought. I kind of just left it off. But I guess I will touch on it. Be grateful with the small things, no matter what the small things are. Whether you have a small house, whether you have, about to say small shoes, whether you have one pair of shoes, two pairs of shoes, if you have a lot of friends, if you don't have a lot of friends, if people love you, if people hate you, be grateful. Just be grateful that you're here. Be grateful that you have the thought, the mind, the decision to be able to make decisions and to be able to go this way or that way. Be grateful that you can do what you want. And I know jobs and 9 to 5s and this and that have people kind of have a tight schedule on their lives. And so, a lot of people don't feel like they can do what they want. They're living a life uh, that is so filled with just work and things that they don't want to do. And I mean, I get it. I completely get it. But enjoy it. I mean, be grateful for the small things. Be grateful for the little job you got. Be grateful. Gratefulness is the opposite of greediness. When you're grateful, like I said, the things that you do have, you appreciate them in a kind way, in a sincere way. You're thankful for the things that you do have around you, small or big. A greedy person will see what's around them, or an ungrateful person would see what's around them and dislike everything, think that nothing is going their way, think that everything is bad, think that God's not on their side, and just have a very demeanor, this demeanor to them that is not full of smiles. A lot of times it's bitter or just unpleasant. And you can tell the difference between a grateful person and an ungrateful person. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. You can spot it out just like that. And so that's one of the reasons why I like to teach these principles, is because when you see a principle when you see somebody operating under a certain principle, gratefulness, faith, go towards those people. And when you see people operating not under those principles, go towards those people and help them out. That's the whole purpose. At least that's what I would do. The people that are that you can see biblical principles, God in them. I love to go and just conversate with those people. I love to share their energy, grateful energy, faithful energy. And for the people that don't have that, for it's up to you with however you would like to go about it. But if you don't feel like you have the capacity to help the next person who's also going through something, hurt people do hurt people, then you might need to step back and study on these principles so they can be instilled within you. So then when you run into that person the next time, you can operate from these principles, which God has asked us to do, which is putting all of this in God's hands. And He will handle the rest. Once you are principally correct, principally righteous, truly, that is all you need to do. Learn the principles, apply them, sit back. Now, sit back don't mean that you're not going to be working hard, and it don't mean that there's not going to be problems, but these principles cover all of those situations when you're in problems and when you're not in problems and when you have things that you need to get done and when life seems unfair. There's principles for every situation. So what I would tell anybody is learn the principles, apply them in your life no matter how hard they are, and see the benefits. See the fruits that come from these principles. I ain't lying to you. I ain't lying to you. Let's see. So I wrote down, I said, people struggle with this principle a lot because they see no reason to be grateful. let me see. People would rather complain or worship themselves as if they did everything. People would rather complain or self-worship for their shortcomings or accomplishments instead of giving it all to God and choosing to be grateful to be where you are now. Being grateful affects the heart greatly. It is like water to a plant. The more grateful, the more alive. And as you become less grateful, you begin to wither. Now, I wrote that, I like the way it sounds because we are compared to trees. The human body is compared to um, a tree often. And just like a flower or just like a tree, they grow up, they can be very healthy, blossom, and just be beautiful. And then they die as well, and life continues. Or you can have a flower that withers, none of the leaves grow, and it just looks dead. It may still be growing, but you can see it dying if it's not already dead. And and then there's the end for that plant. And so the beautiful plant got to grow all of its flowers and shine and complete its mission and do what a flower is supposed to do. And the other flower ended up dying prematurely and didn't get the flower. And so when I put gratefulness into that, to me it's like the flower that lived and blossomed was the grateful flower. The flower that was just grateful to be a flower. It just did what a flower does and grew up and blossomed. And the less grateful flower, they're probably sitting there complaining. Probably wasn't getting complaining about the sun and how that flower was getting more sun than him or her. And it was an unhappy flower and died prematurely just off of the just off of ungratefulness, not being happy, not seeing why he should be there, things like that. And you have the two stories of these flowers that that can really look like reality a lot of times. And so I wanted to paint that picture because if you can see it how I see it, if you can see yourself as a flower, we need water. We, we need to water ourselves. We need to do good. We need to, be grateful. We want to grow up. We want to blossom. We want to grow all of our leaves. We want to produce fruit. And so uh, it's just a good to be the flower that blossoms. You want to instill greatness, gratefulness. You want to keep God around you, and you just want to keep looking forward. Gratefulness is a great, powerful principle to help you blossom. So I got some verses. So these verses sync very well with gratefulness. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus. In everything give thanks. It didn't say in good times give thanks. It says in everything give thanks. No matter what you're going through, no matter what it looks like, give thanks from a true heart. I've even been here before where they say give thanks, then you're in like the worst position ever, absolute just worst scenario, worst circumstance, out of luck. And then in my heart I'm like, give thanks. Just made me scratch my head for a second. And it becomes a little hard to give thanks because it seems like everything is against you. You're almost like, where is God? But I'm telling you, in those moments, God is there. He never leaves. He's always there. A lot of times it's a test to see what you're going to do in those moments and how you're going to respond to what God has sent you. Are you going to pass the test, basically? Or are you going to gripe and complain, be ungrateful, and basically close up and have to retry that test? Or are you going to apply the principles that God has given you? Are you going to look at these problems in the eyes, look at the bad situations, and look at all of that and take your focus off and look to God? Or give all those problems to God? That's what he's asking. And that's what he wants. He wants us to just, do what he's asked. Live righteously. Use his principles. The rest, don't worry about. The flower didn't worry about growing up. The flower was happy. The bird does not wake up and think, how am I going to be a bird today and what am I going to do? The bird gets up and flies. So you and me and everybody should get up and live and just live. You know, it's a lot harder said than done, but truly wake up, connect to the your creator, because God knows best. God knows what you're going through, so he needs you to connect with him just as he needs to connect with you. And the bird stays connected. I don't know what type of sins birds go through, but I think they got another system going on. But for us, wake up, connect with your creator, connect with God, and don't worry. Get out there and live. Situations are gonna be situations. There are always gonna be situations around you, good, bad. It's always gonna be around. Don't worry about that stuff. Just live. Be grateful. Keep the smile on your face. Just live. You'll make it. He will work everything else. He will work out everything else. James 1:17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. Every good gift, every perfect gift is from above. So right when you thought that you did everything to get the Lamborghini, or right when you thought that I did all of this, or right when I thought that I was the one that got that house, all of those good gifts, all of this worked out perfectly, all of those are gifts from above. So even more reason to be grateful, to be thankful, truly, um, because you don't have to have those gifts. That perfect time, it didn't have to happen. It didn't have to go like that. It could have gone differently. You could be in a completely different situation right now. So just be grateful for where you are. We all could be in completely different situations. Who knows where we would be if this happened or that happened. So just be grateful for where you are. 1 Samuel 12:24. But be sure to fear the Lord and serve him faithfully with all your heart. Consider what great things he has done for you. I love that verse because I really like the part where it says, consider what great things he has done for you. Now be sure to fear the Lord and serve him faithfully. None of this is more important than the other. But just what stood out to me was consider what great things he has done for you. We're talking about gratefulness. If you don't feel like you have anything to be grateful for, consider what he's done for you. Just consider all of the good times that have been in your life, all of the blessings that's happened. Just I know struggles can be intense, and even in struggle, sometimes people forget that there once was a good time, that they have had good in their life up to this point. People want to forget the good that has been there, but consider truly consider what has happened up to this point, and not just focusing on the bad things. You're born, first of all. You're out here on this earth. You get to breathe just fine. Um, there's just a lot of things to be grateful for. Personally, I have a lot of things I can reflect on personally, and I know you do too. So we all can personally reflect on the great things he has done for us and leave that thought process grateful. Apply the principle to the next person. Psalm 118:24. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Okay, Lord. So you made today, Lord. Well, thank you. Thank you for today. Matter of fact, I'm glad that I have another day to wake up and to go accomplish stuff and to go through stuff and to get better and to make new relationships and to talk to the people that I've made relationships with already. I'm very thankful that I got to get up today and live. I don't want to. I like life. I don't want to die. I like to go and have fun. I like to go and teach about this stuff with you guys. I like to help people. I like to connect with people. I just, it's thank you. This is the day that the Lord made. And I know that other people's days are not going like my days. Some people are having way better days than me right now. Some people are having way worse days than me right now. I've had way worse days before today, and I've had way better days than before today. So, we all kind of go through the same situations. And the hard part about this, applying this principle through all situations, is that, like I said earlier, people don't see the reason to, especially when they're in a hard situation and it looks like everything is going against them. But remember, you've had a good moment. You've had good in your life before the bad times. And before the good times, you had bad times. Before the bad times, you had good times. So when you were in those good times, the day that you were in that good time, the Lord made that day. So the time that you're in now, whether you're in a bad time or not, the time that you're in now, the Lord made this day too. So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what type of day you're having. Just be thankful you are alive, because good times come and good times go, and bad times come and bad times go. All of this stuff is to help us grow, to get closer to God, and to go on after this life. We don't know really what's going to happen after this life, but I'm setting myself up as best as I can. You know what I'm saying? Colossians 3:15. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called one body, and be thankful. So this last verse, last but not least, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you are called in one body, and be thankful. Let the peace of Christ. So in today's time, there was the Old Testament. Now we've entered into the New Testament, and what is being asked of us right now? Not asked. Let the peace. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. The peace of Christ. And I'm going to get into the peace of Christ and peace and some things along that line as well. In some videos later than this one. But I keep saying it because it's very important. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you are called in one body, and be thankful. Peace can be in your hearts, and if you have peace, you definitely have a reason to be thankful. A lot of people do not have peace, but peace is possible, and peace is achievable, no matter what situation you're in. I want to make that clear. No matter what situation you're in, financial, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, it does not matter. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which you are called, and be thankful. The formula to all of this, to me, it's really not a hard formula. You have principles that you learn about and you apply them. And then you learn more about what happens after you apply them. And since they're the principles of God, He's already deemed that they're fruitful. So then you begin to live in a fruitful life. Your blessings begin to flow. You begin to shine. The principles of righteousness and God are just beaming off of you. And one thing leads to another. So it's always good to just learn these principles, apply them, be good, be righteous, love God, be grateful, smile, and make sure that you have a good day. Thank you for tapping in. Y'all be good.